Cek. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the third International Conference on Health Sciences, Universitas Dr. Subandi. Thank you very much for attending the second day of our conference. In this day, we still have two speakers left and will continue to start our oral presentation session. At this session, as the first speaker, we will have the Honorable Pachaparan Tulyakul PhD from University of South Florida, USA, who will talk about innovation for several maternal outcomes. The second speaker, we have the Honorable Joe Manuel Corey Jimenez MD from University Dili, Timor-Leste, and we will listen about employing innovation and collaboration for resilient public health system. This session will be guided by Mrs. Hertalina Mufida, Master of Science, as moderator. To Mrs. Hertalina, we invite you on the stage.
Thank you, Ms. Maya, for hosting this conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, and welcome all participants who are joining with us virtually. My name is Hertalina Mufida. I'll be your moderator of this international conference. It's a pleasure to see you, so many of you, see today from various parts of the world, representing diverse background and perspective. We would like to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished speakers, Mrs. Pacharapan Tulyakul PhD, and Mr. Joe Manuel Correa Jimenez, MD. Mrs. Pacha is from University of South Florida, will be speaking on integrating technology in emergency midwifery care, innovation for safer maternal outcomes. Mr. Joe is from University of Dili, will be presenting on employing innovation and collaboration for resilient public health system. And I would be greet Mrs. Pacha first. Hello, Mrs. Pacha. Have you already with us?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Pacha. Okay, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
I also have another guest speaker joining me on my sessions. Mr.
Excuse
speaker.
me, Mrs. Pacha, your voice is unclear.
Okay, can you hear me? Good?
No, it's still unclear.
Oh, really? Is it better now? Can you hear me good?
Yes, I hear you good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I have my guest speaker joining me in my session too.
Oh, yes, it's not a big deal. Okay.
Okay.
I will greet second presentation. Mr. Joe, have you already with us? Mr. Joe? Okay, maybe this is the first presentation for Mrs. Pacha. Okay, before we begin the presentation, I would like to present Mrs. Pacha's profile, please.
Okay, I'm good to go, right? I'm good to start, right?
Oh. Okay, thank you very much. Before we let's begin the sessions, I hand over to Ms. Pacharapon Doliaku, PhD, to comment the first presentations, and Mrs. Pacha will talk around 60 minutes. And at the end of the sessions, there will be a discussion sessions. Okay, time is yours.
Good morning again, everyone. Is my voice clear now? I a little bit worried. Can you hear me good now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you for having me. And that is the wonderful presentations of myself that I didn't expect to see. A little bit nervous now. But first of all, let me introduce myself again. I'm Dr. Pacharapon Dunyagun, currently working with University of South Florida. And today I didn't come alone talking about how technology emerging in healthcare system in order to improve global health outcome. We as a nurse or healthcare worker, usually we just a technology user. We don't even know or learn much about how technology are developed. So today I have my special guest joining me to present or talk about engineering perspective, how technology are emerging in healthcare system. So everyone, please joining me welcome my special guest speaker, Mr. Iceberga. But let me share the screen. Okay, wait a second.
All right, can you hear me?
Everyone see the screen clearly?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm IJ Sibirka, a data engineer who deeply passionate about technology and health where they meet. Let me start with a quick image. So every second, more than 1,000 of data points are generated around the planet through wearable scans, tests, and more. But still, millions of people die from preventable condition. Why? Because the data does not reach the people who need it most. Today, I want to talk about a shift that already changing medicine and how data and AI can help to make healthcare more predictive, more personal, and more equitable. Please picture this. A newborn in Nairobi, a cancer patient in Mumbai, and a rural clinic in Bolivia, all getting the same level of care, not just a treatment, but predictive insights. We are not there yet, but we are closer than you might think. All the paths start with data. Are we all set? Okay. So healthcare is one of the biggest data generating industries on the planet, from patient record, lab tests, wearable, to imaging, even full genomic sequencing. We are swimming in data. But here, the thing, the issue isn't why that we don't have a data. The issue is it is being locked away, disconnected, incomplete, or just plain unusable. Now let's face some realities. Around 60% of the world does not have access to basic healthcare. Many hospitals are still using a paper records and system in one country or even in across department often cannot talk with each other. So yes, we are in digital age, but healthcare is still analog bonds. Here's something I believe deeply. We cannot fix what we cannot see. And that's why data is starting points. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. So how data change lives? So what can good data actually do? When it's clean, connected, and trusted, data let us track a global outbreak in real time, like we saw in COVID dashboards, improve outcome, tailoring care to the individuals, that personalized medicine, and optimize hospital operation like predicting ICU demand or managing ER wait time. Here's the catch. Even the most advanced AI cannot do anything with bad or missing data. That's why our role as a data engineer is so critical. We are not just building a tech, we are building the nervous system of the modern healthcare. Let's go next slide, please. All right, so now let's shift the gear and talk about AI. We are when powered by the right data, AI is already transforming healthcare. Some examples you might know: predictive analytic that forecasting disease outbreaks or flag patient at risk or redemption. AI tools that match or even exceed the human accuracy in detecting cancers from scans. Platform as AlphaFold that predict protein structure in days instead of years. And virtual assistants like chatbots helping people in remote areas getting faster answers. But there is a simple truth we cannot forget. Garbage in, garbage out. AI only powerful as the data beneath it. Let's go next slide, please. So how do we make the most of this? What do we need to do together to unlock the AI full potential in healthcare? Here's what I believe. We need a better data infrastructure everywhere, not in just like top tier hospitals. We need engineers, clinical people, and policymakers to truly collaborate. We need to build a system that are transparent, fair, inclusive, and we need a global standard so the systems speak the same language. Most importantly, we prioritize the ethic and equity because when AI is biased, it's not just unfair, it can be deadly. Last slide. So here's what I want to leave you with. The future of healthcare isn't just digital, it is data driven. And we, the engineers behind the data, have responsibility to build a system that are smarter, that are safer, that everyone serves everyone. So the question is, can AI improve the global health? The question is, will we build the data foundation strong enough to let it? So that's it on my side. Pacha, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sbiega. So I open up these sessions from the engineer perspective who work behind the scenes or all the kind of technology in healthcare system, because I think it's very important. When I move and work in, American healthcare system, I realized this is really important because, we record all the data from the patient every single day, every single hour, but we don't even know how to manage it. And when we think about how we're going to develop the healthcare outcome or how we're going to integrate all kinds of technology in healthcare, and what we're going to do if we don't know anything about it. And thank you so much for sharing your perspectives. So now I'm going to move next to my part, which is focusing more detail in nursing. I know according to agenda of the conference, I support to talk about emergency situation to care for mother or the newborn. But why I picked this topic, the reasons is because I work in the divisions of metabolic and genetic diseases with University of South Florida. Yes, these disorders are really, really important and considered as emergency because right now, all kinds of disease related to these kinds of disorder is still untreatable. We still dig deep and try to do more critical trial or collect more data to figure out the better solutions or effective care to treat these kinds of disease. First of all, I would like you guys, because we don't have much time, so I would like you guys to think about these two questions on the screen. The first questions that I would like you guys to think of is how familiar are you with the clinical trials focusing on maternal and neonatal metabolic or genetic disorders? Think about it. And the second question, I would like you guys to think about what are your thoughts on the potential implementations of genetic testing for these disorders in Indonesia's healthcare system. So my answer, before I moved and worked in America, those kinds of disease is out of my scope. I didn't even know much about it. But once I start working with this disease, I realized this is the critical issue that the baby who just born can die in a minute if they don't get promptly treatment or effective treatment. So main focus on my session today, we're going to talk about how clinical trial can bridge the critical gap in diagnosis, treatment, monitoring of this condition worldwide. And the second one, we're going to talk about how technology and innovations that happen right now can enhance the outcome for this particular patient. I just try to look at the time, how much I have left. Okay, so the challenge of taking care or thinking about the treatment to care for maternal and neonatal genetic disorder is really, really challenging in my perspective. Why? We're talking about the data engineer before the first section. So here is the thing that I show in this slide is the data that I pull out from some sort. Definitely, data is very important. So right now, our world is facing critical impact from these conditions. Right now, from the statistics, over 7% of newborn worldwide are born with genetic or metabolic disorder. And what's next? So it's going to affect the quality of life, the health conditions. Mother going to get overwhelming, thinking how to treat my baby. And are they going to survive in the next hour or next day? How long they going to stay with us? There's many things thinking about that. And genetic and metabolic condition or disorder is costly treatment. I mean, like, if you think about the cost of treatments, how long they have to admit in the hospital, and many times a day they have to go back and forth from the hospital, that is the money. And the second challenge is traditional limitations. What does it mean by that? It means right now, the program or even the treatment or interventions that we try to treat these particular patients is just one size fits all. It's like you cut one shirt and you can just use it for everyone, but it's not going to fit the individual problem because each problem for the genetic or metabolic conditions may be specialized for individual. And the big challenge, another one, this is the last one down, is innovative solutions. This is just, is pros and cons in the meantime. Okay, so right now we are in the, in the era of the technology improvement. Yeah, we discover technology and also the research solutions that can improve the way we can detect the baby earlier or the way that we can treat the disease effectively. But it's still like a testing process, not 100% sure. And again, data is very important. That's how the data engineer working. So all the statistics that I'm showing to you now is also from the data engineer who collecting, analyzing. So I just use them showing now. If you see the first statistic, the baby who just born to the world, with this genetic or metabolic disorder, they can die in a second or maybe an hour, a day. If you see the mortality rate for this disease is up to 20 to 30%, is very, very high. The second one, the second statistics, you can see children under 5 years old who died in 2020 with congenital abnormality is high up to 5.2 million. This is a lot too. But if you see the down one, 80%, what 80% mean? 80% mean the technology allow us to improve the healthcare and also reduce the mobility and mortality rate up to 80%. So what is mean by this? It means this baby who just born to the world, if they can get detections or the screening earlier, faster, effectively, they have higher rate to survive. So what's the thing that can help them to detect and screen? So they call newborn screening program. I'm not sure that you guys are familiar with this term, newborn screening program. So now we're going to talk about this newborn screening program. Again, I did some research because right now data is available for everyone around the world. So I dig deep for some details about newborn screening in Indonesia. And I see if my data is not correct, please let me know. But this is from some article or the research that I saw from the internet. And here, the newborn screening program in Indonesia is started in 2020, but only focusing on detecting or the screening hypothyroidism. This is the same thing as Thailand, I guess. I was a nursing student, how many years ago? 20 years ago? I'm so old. Yeah. So I remember the baby just born and then we do the heel pricks, which is like getting blood from the baby heel and then drop on the paper sheet to detect the hypothyroid. That's what I know about newborn screening. And in 2023, Indonesia maybe try to explain the newborn screening program more to detect another disease, which is include congenital adrenal hyperplasia or GCPD, but in some certain area, not all around the country. But you can see the improvements and you can see that they are focusing on expanding the newborn screening to other kinds of disease to detect the baby abnormally earlier. This is another sums up the idea of newborn screening in Indonesia. As I said earlier, newborn screening in Indonesia is nationally focusing on detecting congenital hyperthyroidism. But in some area, they are screening for heart disease, congenital heart disease, hearing loss, and also the inborn metabolic disorder. Hopefully soon in the future, they can expand all around the country. But newborn screening is not easy task. It needs a lot of effort and the system management. The big barrier that I found out from the paper that they are published about the newborn screening program in Indonesia is about the infrastructure. What is meant by infrastructure? Newborn screening is not just like you just get the blood draw from the baby and then to send to the lab. Not just that. You have to have the process. Which lab or who gonna translate or interpret the lab, and how long it's gonna take for reading the lab results or whatever. This is a big picture doing for the newborn screening. And in the meantime, training is also important because, you know, even like the heel blood testing, it seems easy, just drop the pass on the paper sheet, but it's still a lot of error happened if you didn't do right. And the logistic is another barrier because the lab result has to send back and forth from facility to another facility. So it might be the issue that the result never come up to the end of the user. And the last barrier is funding. You know, newborn screening needs a lot of money to process effectively. I'm gonna talk about it in the next slide. And again, another challenge is about the follow-up because, you know, you get a result from somewhere else or from the lab and try to send back to original testing hospital, but then you don't know where to send, who's gonna receive this, and you can't even contact the mother of the newborn, or the mother moved to somewhere else and you cannot keep track on them. So it's lost on the way. There's nothing to follow up after that. But again, newborn screening is really, really helpful and effective to stop emergency care. If you think about, okay, so we love to work in the ED, we love to manage the emergency situations, but think about that. This is the cost of treatment, this high cost of treatment. If we can prevent earlier by using this newborn screening program, so we can prevent emergency issue. So from statistics, the newborn screening program in Indonesia that is started in 2022, which is 3 years ago, can detect up to 100 children with hearing loss, 34 children, and 17 children with congenital heart disease. This is a lot, not a joke. So this is to summarize the idea of Indonesian's newborn screening program. So if my data is not right, please let me know. Now we're gonna move next to newborn screening program in Florida. I'm gonna talk just about the Florida because each state in USA, they have their own system to detect newborn screening. So Florida is the state, like small state. It's maybe like Indonesians because we are just like maybe the peninsula in the Iceland, like Iceland. So the newborn screening program in Florida was separated in 3 regions. So I and my team working in the central regions, which is run by University of South Florida. So what the newborn screening doing? So once the baby born, we do the same as what Indonesian healthcare system did. So we're gonna do the heel blood test from the baby. But the different thing is gonna be more detail after that. So we do the heel pricks, which is the blood draw from heel and put on the paper sheet. So we're gonna do within 24 to 48 hours after birth. And then the nurse had to send that lab sheet to the central lab. So in the central Florida, we're going to send to the city called Jacksonville. So you don't have to know about that, but it's just a facility, which is the central lab that's going to run the test or newborn screening. So the difference between Indonesian system and Florida system, in Florida, we detect more than 50 diseases of newborn disorder. This is a lot. And once the lab result from the central lab come back, our team will get the email if there is something wrong with the baby, I mean the abnormal lab. So our team, also let me explain more. So our team, we're gonna have, we have newborn screening coordinator who work on all kinds of cases after we get the result back from the central lab. We have a newborn screening nurse who are just working with physicians, how we're going to do the next step. And we also have the physicians, the pediatric physicians were specialized in genetic disease, metabolic disease, and we also have genetic counselor in case that the baby have the genetic disease. And the last one, we have a dietitians if the disease is involved with the metabolic thing. So once we receive the result back, the newborn coordinator will look at the lab result and see what is wrong for this baby. And this lab is matching with what disease. and then send the lab to the doctor or physician to interpret. And then the doctor gonna order the next step, what we're gonna do for this patient or for this baby, what kinds of lab that they need. The first round of the HealClick is just detection or screening. But the second round of lab that the physician make a decision is going to be diagnosis. So this is going to be a costly lab or the big lab. So let's say that the patients have some blood test abnormal, and then the doctor says, oh, this baby have to admit in the hospital immediately to get the lab result done. So it means this is the critical or emergency situations already happened to the baby. Let's say that baby have a high ammonia level, which may caused by some metabolic disease, such as the baby cannot digest protein, cannot digest fat. This is a lot of disease related to that. And then at the end of this digest process, if the baby cannot, like baby get a breastfeeding, but they cannot process protein or fat, and then it's gonna develop toxics and have an effect into the neurosystems. The baby can die or have a seizure. So that is the emergency situations that the baby have to admit in a hospital right away. So we also have a service that we can bring the baby from home, admit in the hospital. If the baby live nearby, we can just order the ambulance taking them to the hospital. But if the baby live far away and they have limited access to the transportation, we offer a helicopter to bring the baby to the hospital. It depends. And then after the baby come to the hospital, we're gonna do the big lab kit to diagnose what is wrong with the baby. And that lab is gonna include the genetic testing. Yeah, right now, Florida, that's what I say. So we detect more than 50 diseases for the baby. That includes metabolic, endocrine, hematology, immunology disorder, all kinds of this. And maybe it's gonna brace up more next year. And we are in Florida right now. We are going to pass the bill that genetic testing gonna be the part of the newborn screening. So it means like not just the heel pricks anymore. So we're gonna draw the blood from the baby, or even like the swab from the cell wire or in the mouth or wherever to do the genetic testing. So the baby is gonna have the better results of what really wrong with them. Again, newborn screening is not really easy to perform or to manage. It costs a lot of money, all kinds of the things that I'm talking about earlier about the newborn screening system in Florida. We got a big funding from the government. It's really big funding. With our money, we cannot do that because this service is free for everyone. So that's why it needs money. So now we're gonna move next to after the baby was detected or was diagnosed with their metabolic or genetic diseases, what we gonna do? Or if we don't do, what is gonna happen? So that is gonna be challenging in the emergency case that we know the baby have something wrong. Mostly right now the world are facing is diagnostic delay because it's not every regions, every regions or every country around the world have the kinds of technology or the newborn screen system that can detect all these diseases earlier, faster, accurately. So if diagnosis delay is mean the baby can, the rate of the baby surviving maybe it decrease. And the second one is disparity. So it's the same thing. They cannot afford, they cannot access to the place that be able to detect these kinds of disorder, especially the rural area. But hopefully soon in the future, so we might have a better technology test kit, maybe like a COVID test that is just like bring home, test it, send to the lab, and then get the result done, maybe in the future. And the third one is about cost. The genetic and metabolic disorder treatment are or expensive because the diseases are rare. And the pharmacy company who invest the money to develop the treatment to sell just a limit number or the patients or the buyer. So they have to raise up the price of treatment for sure, right? And not just that, this disease is very, very, how can I say, make the baby fragile. Like the baby in the poor health situation, they can't even eat anything. They can't even like perform or have ability like another kid. So mostly they just admit in hospital almost every month. So that is a lot of money. And the last one, ethical concerns. You know, there is a big discussions between the physicians and genetic diseases and also the policy maker. If the genetic detection or the genetic testings available for everyone, and then the mother got the result or know what the baby gonna get sick or what the baby gonna have in the future. Let's say like you get a baby genetic test result and you're gonna know in 5 years your baby gonna get sick with a heart disease. In 10 years, they're gonna develop with the immunization disorder, whatever. Or 20 years, they're gonna develop diabetes, whatever. So what you're gonna do next as a mom or a parent? So right now is still like discussing between benefit and risk of putting genetic detection or genetic testing in the newborn screening. Or another side of the story, like the mother or the pregnant woman do a genetic test like NIP, and then they know that the baby is not in the good health situations or conditions. They maybe carry some genetic disorder. What you gonna do? Terminate the pregnancy or allow the baby to survive? And then you know at the end the baby not gonna survive, and you're gonna suffer with the unhealthy baby, and you have to take care of them all their life. That is a tough question in the in the ethical concern. Here, when the advancements of technology and innovation come to the world, so we have the big hope that the technology will allow us to figure out the better solution for the disease that we never have a treatment, or for the disease that is threatened, life threatened, like kill the people. So what the solution for that? So the option for us is the clinical trial. and innovation development. So I know that you guys may be familiar with the clinical trial phases. Usually, people gonna talk about phase 1 to phase 4, which is like the clinical trial for drug or medical device. But some people gonna say, oh, before phase 1, we have phase 0, which is testing of drug or device with the animal like mouse, rat, monkey, whatever. And then what is that drug or that device safe enough, they're gonna move to testing in human. The same thing, all kind of technology. If it involved with a human, they have to test with a human to see, is it safe enough? If it's effectiveness enough to save the life? Or is it worth to invest the money to all kind of this trial? So next part, I'm going to talk about the clinical trial that related to the drug or innovation related to maternal and neonatal care. So in the bottom of the slide, I show the new technologies such as the wearable sensor, e-device, and also the telehealth that right now involved in clinical trial. So we have a traditional way of the clinical trial that the patients have to admit in the hospital or come to the clinic to see the research team every single visit. But right now, some clinical trial allow the patient just stay home, and we give you a device so we can keep track on your health or your indications or whatever through the technology that you don't have to come to the hospital. The same thing with the maternal and the baby care. So right now they develop some technology that can detect the babies since they are inside the stomach, or even observe or monitor there's something wrong with the pregnant woman before they born. So this is the benefits of the advancements of technology in this era. So this is the summary of the step of innovation or the drug development in the maternal and neonatal clinical research. I forgot to tell you, after the newborn screening program that I'm talking about in my department, if we see that any potential client or patient that met with the inclusion and exclusion criteria of the clinical trial that we have, so the physician will transfer them to join the clinical trial, because this is going to be the solution for them to get the better treatment or to be survived. But we don't force them to join the clinical trial. It's up on their decisions. We just follow the protocol, no forcing. Even like they don't join, the department, our department, the physician in our department, gonna take care of them like a normal thing. So this is the summary of the step or how a drug or innovation in the healthcare system are developed and testing until it's come to the market. The first step is phase 1, which is the preclinical testing for safety and efficacy. So it might be include phase 2, which is testing in animal too. But the phase 1 gonna testing in the small number of the human, like 2 to 5 patients, to see the dose safe enough to continue to another group of the patients. And then once the green flag, I mean, is safe and have effective results, the clinical trial gonna move next to the phase 2, or sometimes they're gonna call the phase 1, but it's raised up the number of the patient involved in the clinical trial. So they're gonna do the applications of the clinical trial, follow that they have to, the clinical trial have many law and regulation, protocol, and standards. So all kinds of things, the researcher, sponsor, or even the pharma company have to follow these regulations to continue the clinical trial. So all this kind of step involved with data engineer, because we have to collect every single data along the process of clinical trial. Not just that we have to collect, we have to collect it promptly, correctly, and other team who not involved in the site can monitor from somewhere else around the world to all kinds of data that we collected. And then clinical trial gonna continue from phase 1 to phase 4, but at the end of phase 3, the drug or the device, it seemed to be safe enough to go to the market. But before it go to the market, it have to be tested or approved by FDA. So the FDA gonna investigate all the site who involved in the clinical trial to see all the data that occurred during the clinical trial is trustable, and the results of the clinical trial show the safety and the high standard or not. If FDA approve that drug or that device for the baby or for the mother, gonna go to the market. So this is one thing that I would like to show you guys. I know everyone take the medications, and usually, including me, when I take medication, I never read the drug label. But I recommend you guys to read through the drug label, because that is contain the useful information that occur during the clinical trial. So let me explain this. During the clinical trial, from phase 1 to phase 3, as a researcher, we have to report every single side effect or each drug to the monitor or sponsor. If you have diarrhea, you have headache, you have flu, you have stomach ache, or you have anaphylactic shock, which is the severe adverse event. So every single site of clinical trial have to report the side effect or the adverse event or severe adverse events of each drug. And then data engineer collects all the information and summarizes and send it to the sponsor and also the FDA to see the drug is safe enough or not. And this information is going to present on the drug label what kinds of side effects from the drug that you may experience when you're taking this drug. Another thing, the dosing of the drug. It has been testing many times through phase 1 to phase 3 of clinical trial until it comes up with perfect doses. Why you have to take this drug one pill before meal? Why you have to take the drug with milk? Why you have to take the drug with juice? So that is the testing through the clinical trial. So this is really, really important information that I encourage all of you as a nurse when you instruct or educate the patient. You should teach them how to read proper labeled drug, especially pregnant women, because some drugs affect the baby inside their stomach and also can cause the preterm labor, whatever. So this is really, really important that you have to teach them to read labeled drug. And after the drug go to the market, what's next? The clinical trial not done yet. After the drug goes sale on the markets, right now everyone can access to that drug. They're gonna take the drug, and what's next? So we still keep track or collect more data from post-market up to 10 years to see the side effect of the data or the efficacy of that drug. Mostly, phase 4 of the clinical trial, we have to follow the participants who are enrolled in the phase 1, phase 2, and also phase 3 for 10 more years to see the safety or the efficacy. So the good example, so you may know if some drug is already in the market and then suddenly they just pull out of the market because it's not safe. So this is from the data that they're gathering after the long-term follow-up and see that drug is not worth the money and is not helping the people. So that's why they just cut it off, take it out. That is for drug. So now we're going to talking about another innovation thing, which is not just a drug, it's about the tests that related to the genetic testing. So right now, as Mr. Sibiga talking about the data collecting and how data engineer working on all kinds of data. So they collect all genome abnormal, and then they use that as a banks, the gene banks, to compare with all kinds of disease that is matching with a genetic disorder. So right now, many healthcare, including Thailand that I heard right now, they have the genetic testing for the people. It costs them around $200 for each testing, I guess. So that is going to help for the people who are unsure what kind of disease that they have and to see what's going on or what's wrong with them. Why they have been treating for a long time, the disease not improve, or even the baby have some weird disease and the doctor didn't even know what's going on with the baby. Genetic testing is the answer. So this one is some example of the technology solutions right now happened in the market. That is developed from all data-driven solutions. So we have genomic sequence, which is NIP. I think somebody already know about that. We have WES. WES is another kind of genetic testing. And we also have AI that can predict a pregnancy risk. And also the AI can customize the personalized care plan for each patient, specific for each individual. And we also have many kinds of electronic device that can keep track and notify the physicians if something wrong happened to the baby in the stomach or happened to the pregnancy woman. Same thing here, but the big challenge is all these kinds of things that I'm showing in the slide is very, very expensive. Not all the people around the world can access this. I think NIF testing is costs a lot of money too, maybe 300 to 10 to $1,000. I'm not sure about that, but for sure it's very expensive. But it's worth it if you're really worried about there is something wrong with you or your baby. NIP test or waist test is very worth it. And this is an example of the mobile app that it can improve maternal health outcome, because this kinds of application can monitor and also provide care to the mother without they coming to the clinic. It's just a remote service. I know that my time almost done, so I'm gonna go faster. So this is the example. You can look at this detail later. You can even download it and use it too. And this is the thing that I maybe spend like a few minutes talking about it. This is really, really emergency. I can say emergency disorder, emergency situations once the baby have this disorder. Okay, so the first trial, this is a new drug that gonna try that they are, I mean, the pharma company developing to treat their patients, I mean, the baby with the propionic acidemia. Have you guys heard about this disease? Propionic acidemia is the baby who just born and then they cannot even digest the protein and fat from food. Baby food is the breast milk, right? So first drink or first sucks breast milk from the mother kill the baby. So right now, this disease is untreatable and is very, very critical and is in the emergency case all the time. Every time baby drink mother milk, it kill the baby. So they have a specific milk for this baby boy. And this disease, not disease, this trial right now is on the process of testing phase 1 and 2. And the size available in Asia is in Japan. The second one is the disease called spinal muscular atrophy. So this disease is something wrong with the genetic that destroy the neurons of the muscle. The baby have the weak muscle. They can't even walk. And the worst one is they can't even breathe. And if the baby can breathe, they may die, right? So again, this one is phase 2 trial, multi-center. So multi-center is mean testing around the world. So the baby who just born and having the disease right now have a big hope that this disease can be treated in the future. And again, the closest site in the Asia is in Japan and Taiwan. And another disease, this is really, really critical disease too. It's called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Same thing with the previous one, SMA. So this one is related to muscular atrophy, but this one is developed when the children grow up a little bit around age 2 to 5, they're going to start develop the symptom. They're going to start failing many, many times. They're going to start having pain on their leg. And then at the end, the muscular atrophy gonna spread up to the chest again. And this disease have a sign in, not this disease, this trial have a sign in China, South Korea, and also Thailand. The last one, this one, the severe combined immunodeficiency. This is very critical too, because the baby are prone to have many kinds of infection because their immune system is no longer available for them to fight with any kinds of germ. So the baby gonna get sick frequently and have a high risk of having sepsis. Again, this one have a critical site in Malaysia, but it's just a pilot study now. And this is only one that I saw the clinical trial focusing on marginal and neonatal in Indonesia. So it's called nutrition optimal nutrition among the pregnant women to improve marginal and neonatal outcome in Jakarta. So if you want to look for more detail, just go to this website. This website is the ILB website that contains useful information about all kinds of clinical trials around the world. And again, providing care for marginal and neonatal in the emergency issue or even normal issue need guidance. So there are many guidance that you can follow, but some guidance is not exist yet because in the developing process, because some diseases have no cure, no clue. So hopefully in the future, we're gonna have some idea for the advancements of technology to treat these kinds of disease, specific on the genetic or metabolic diseases. I think my time may be like over, so I'm gonna end my part of my sessions from here. So all kinds of disease are definitely gonna impact for the global health, especially for the baby who just born to the world and then they can't survive or they have worse or they have bad quality of life or health situations. What is going to happen to them if they can't grow up healthier? They can't even survive in the few hours, few days, or few months. What's going to happen? So our big hope is the technology going to do something to find a better solution to treat all these kinds of disease. And not just that, every single person around the world and every country around the world have to have equal access to these kinds of treatment too. Okay, so yes, so I'm done with my session.
Mrs. Pacha,
Yes.
your time is almost up.
Yeah, I
Maybe
finished.
1 minute left.
I already finished it. Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Any question?
Maybe in other sessions, in the end of those sessions, will be there is a discussion sessions. So please, Mrs. Pacha and Mr. Barka, stay connected on Zoom. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Pacha and Mr. Berka, for that insightful presentations. And the next session is second presentations. Before we begin, I would like to Mr. Joe curriculum vitae, please. Well, thank you very much. We will now proceed to the next presentation. I would like to invite Mr. Jo to present the second presentation. Mr. Jo will talk around 60 minutes. Hello, Mr. Jo, have you already with us? Selamat pagi, Bapak Jo. Sudah bergabung dengan kami di Zoom?
Halo, selamat pagi.
Halo, selamat pagi Bapak.
Ya, selamat pagi.
Oke, suara kami terdengar dengan jelas?
Suaranya terdengar dengan jelas. Selamat pagi. Halo, di sana bisa dengar?
Halo Bapak, suara kami terdengar jelas?
Iya, suaranya terdengar jelas.
Oke, baik. Untuk presentasi ada waktu 60 menit. Kemudian nanti akan ada sesi diskusi di akhir presentasi. Ya, Bapak
Baik.
sudah siap dengan materinya?
Barusan saya kirim lagi materinya, tolong di-share dari sana. Saya memakai HP.
Oke, baik. Dari kami yang akan men-share presentasinya.
Ya,
Oke, baik. Akan kami bantu.
terima kasih. Apa saya boleh berbicara bahasa Indonesia, Pak?
Oh, iya Bapak, siap. Silahkan.
Terima kasih sekali. Saya mulai presentasinya. Good morning, everyone. We are very pleased to have this opportunity to share with you, and we hope that we will get some very important points from the participants. We know that here we have the expert here from yesterday. Unfortunately, we have no time, no opportunity to participate all the presentation, but today we try to have all the say that already did from yesterday. So maybe I will talk more in Indonesian language, so I can share, I can give all the point that we want to share with you from our country, from Timor-Leste. Baik, topik yang diberikan kepada kami untuk dibawakan pada seminar ini berkaitan dengan bagaimana mengimplementasikan inovasi dan kolaborasi tentunya bersama untuk meningkatkan sistem kesehatan masyarakat di negara kita, terutama di Timor-Leste. Jadi saya akan membawa teman-teman partisipan untuk datang ke Timor-Leste dalam 1 jam, kurang dari sejam, untuk mengenal lebih jauh bagaimana kami di Timor-Leste mencoba untuk menerapkan, mengaplikasikan inovasi dan kerjasama mendukung sistem kesehatan kami. Baik, slide-nya silakan. Ya, kenapa? Next. Mungkin videonya saya jaringannya mungkin. Kenapa ini sangat penting sekali? Jadi, so it's very important. Ada innovation, also collaboration. Kita tahu bahwa sekarang meskipun zaman semakin maju dan ada tuntutan dari berbagai situasi kondisi, terutama di bidang kesehatan, bahwa ada beberapa hal yang mungkin tidak bisa kita lakukan. Jadi membutuhkan bantuan, membutuhkan sarana atau yang lain, atau pendekatan yang lain dengan menggunakan metode yang lebih modern. Jadi hal ini tentunya sangat dibutuhkan di Timor-Leste juga, kami menyadari itu. Karena ini untuk kepentingan untuk membuat sistem kesehatan kita, membuat pelayanan kita lebih baik lagi. Namun tidak semata-mata hanya mengandalkan inovasi tersebut, karena apapun semodern apapun teknologi yang kita miliki, tentu peran serta kita sebagai manusia ini sangat important sekali, karena kita berperan menjadi peran sentral itu adalah kita sebagai tenaga kerja, sebagai orang kita yang menggunakan skala teknologi untuk membantu kita memfasilitasi kita. Jadi dua hal ini tidak bisa dipisahkan antara inovasi yang kita gunakan dan juga kerjasama di dalam sebuah sistem yang kita bangun secara bersama. Nah, inovasi dan kolaborasi ini ternyata di garis bawah ini di dalam vision dari SDG yang juga dituntut bahwa dua hal ini harus berjalan bersama, di mana ketika itu dijalankan secara bersama, maka bisa diharapkan sistem kesehatan kita akan semakin baik. Di Timur Leste ini menjadi sebuah tantangan tersendiri, terutama tentang inovasi dalam bidang kesehatan ini. Ada beberapa hal yang nanti kita akan lihat di Timor Leste sudah mulai untuk dilakukan teknologi sederhana yang kami coba untuk gunakan di Timor Leste ini. Next, tujuan melalui seminar ini kami berharap bahwa kita semua, termasuk kami di Timor Leste, saya yakin di sini mahasiswa-mahasiswa saya mungkin ada yang mengikuti, bisa mengerti terhadap apa yang itu disebut dengan inovasi, terutama dalam bidang kesehatan. Lalu harus tahu tidak boleh meninggalkan bahwa kerjasama itu sangat penting, kolaborasi antara sesama tenaga kerja dan juga kolaborasi lintas sektoral dari berbagai pihak yang nantinya akan membuat sistem kesehatan kita ini semakin bagus. Lalu pengertian tentang ketahanan atau itu sendiri, sistem kesehatan sendiri juga mungkin kita akan secara sepintas untuk kita. Lalu kami membawa teman-teman untuk mengenal daerah kami dari segi demografinya, dari segi situasi kesehatan terkini yang ada, sehingga teman-teman bisa mengerti apa yang kami hadapi sebetulnya di Timor Leste. Lalu melalui seminar ini juga kami berharap untuk mendapat masukan-masukan yang bagus buat kita, bagi kami, dan juga apa yang kami share di seminar ini juga bisa berguna untuk teman-teman, sehingga itu bisa menambah referensi teman-teman untuk membuat lebih bagus lagi, semakin meningkatkan sistem kesehatan masyarakat di negara masing-masing. Lalu kami berharap nanti ada beberapa hal yang kami share tentang bagaimana kami mengimplementasikan inovasi kesehatan ini di sistem kesehatan kami, dan juga berharap bahwa bisa membantu kami untuk mencoba merancang sebuah framework yang lebih bagus buat kami. Next. Nah, ini sepintas tentang Timur Leste. Mungkin kalau teman-teman dari Indonesia sudah tahu, tapi mungkin yang dari negara lain mungkin akan sedikit bingung di mana Timur Leste sampai saat ini masih ada yang belum tahu Timor Leste. Jadi salah satu pulau di negara Asia Tenggara ini, kami termasuk negara developing country dengan mata pencarian utama itu adalah bidang pertanian. Ada beberapa sektor yang mungkin teman-teman dengar, misalnya gas yang selalu di ini, ada juga dalam ekspor impor, tetapi utamanya masyarakat, sebagian besar masyarakat, mungkin 60-70% itu bermata pencarian sebagai petani. Daerah kami itu pulau kecil sekitar 14.000 km persegi, 2/3 adalah berbukit-bukit, jadi hanya sepertiga tanah yang dataran rendah, itu sekitar sepertiga saja. Nah, sayangnya dari 1,3 juta jiwa yang ada, sebagian besar itu memang hidup di daerah-daerah yang pedalaman, di daerah perbukitan. Jadi kalau kita populasi mungkin antara 40 sampai 60% mendiami dataran dataran tinggi. Di bidang kesehatan kami memiliki infrastruktur secara politik itu bagus. Ada setiap desa, sekitar 400-an desa itu semua mempunyai outpost. Jadi kalau di Indonesia mungkin itu poliklinik desa kalau saya Polindes yang di mana kalau dulu mungkin di kepalai atau di planning oleh seorang bidan, mungkin sekarang dokter sudah banyak atau perawat jadi sudah ini. Kami ada 400-an, lalu 78 puskesmas, dengan puskesmas belum diklasifikasikan dengan baik, seperti apakah puskesmas pembantu atau puskesmas utamanya. Jadi kami samakan saja, ada 78 puskesmas yang berfungsi bagus itu sekitar 71 mungkin yang berfungsi dengan bagus. Dengan 6 rumah sakit yang 5 rumah sakit berkapasitas sebagai rumah sakit regional atau rujukan di daerah dan 1 rumah sakit nasional. Dan lalu yang tantangannya itu adalah kalau di kota seperti di Dili, akses terhadap fasilitas kesehatan itu lumayan masih bagus, tapi di daerah rural area, pedalaman, pedesaan itu cukup susah karena jarak antara rumah dengan fasilitas kesehatan itu biasanya cukup jauh. Ada yang ditempuh lebih dari 2 jam perjalanan. Jadi itu menjadi tantangan tersendiri. Lalu tenaga kesehatan kami meskipun secara kuantitas mencukupi proporsional, tetapi yang bisa melakukan fungsi untuk itu di semua daerah itu sedikit terbatas. Nanti alasannya kenapa kita di belakang, nanti kita akan tahu kenapa seperti itu. Next. Seperti tadi sudah dikatakan, ini data terakhir 1.300.000-an 40 dengan distribusi usia adalah 40% di bawah 15 tahun. Jadi ini cukup menjanjikan kalau dibina dengan baik, diarahkan dengan baik, mungkin ke depan lebih bagus lagi. Usia rata-rata itu di 20 tahun, lalu seperti tadi sudah dikatakan, hanya sekitar 31% yang mendiami daerah-daerah perkotaan. Maka populasi growth-nya cukup tinggi, 2,3%. Lalu dengan life expectancy-nya menurut WHO di tahun 2023 itu 70 tahun. Saya juga tidak begitu ini, tapi dari penelitian yang dilakukan, survei yang dilakukan WHO di tahun 2023 menunjukkan life expectancy-nya cukup bagus, 70 tahun. Next. Belum. Jadi situasi yang lain tentang mortality rate, maternal mortality rate 200 per 100.000 di 2003, lalu kemarin di COVID ini, kasus COVID satu negara terakhir, laporan terakhir di tahun 2004 itu dari awal 2022 tercatat sampai dengan 2004 awal itu ada 40.000 kasus dengan 230 kematian yang terregistrasi. Jadi cukup tinggi juga. Jadi, halo. Yang menjadi masalah utama kita di sini adalah masalah infrastruktur, medical equipment dan digital literasi yang memiliki kesenjangan yang cukup tinggi. Dari 400-an infrastruktur yang kita ada, health post yang kita punya masih perlu untuk dibenahi untuk memberi pelayanan yang lebih baik, sehingga tidak mengganggu sistem kesehatan kita. Lalu digital literasi itu lebih banyak itu karena masalah internet. Jadi ide-ide inovasi-inovasi yang ingin kita adopsi untuk saat ini masih terbentur dengan jaringan internet yang kita punya. Saat ini sedang dibangun fiber optik yang untuk mengantari seluruh wilayah Timor Leste. Kami berharap dalam 1-2 tahun ke depan instalasi ini sudah bisa dan sudah bisa bekerja dengan properly, dengan baik. Oke. Jadi ini saya kira saya tidak akan berbicara banyak. Next slide tentang konsep-konsep apa itu kolaborasi, inovasi, resilient atau strong health system. Ini hanya sepintas saja. Jadi tidak akan banyak di sini karena semua tahu. Jadi per definisi itu inovasi seperti yang kita tahu. Jadi ide-ide dan metode-metode pendekatan-pendekatan yang baru yang ditujukan untuk membuat peningkatan di dalam pelayanan kita, baik dari proses maupun dari hasil yang kita harapkan. Terutama jadi inovasi itu harus membawa perubahan yang lebih baik. Nah, kalau tidak itu sebaiknya kita menggunakan cara-cara yang lain. Inovasi yang kita buat itu juga harusnya itu bersandar pada teknologi yang available, yang ada. Jadi untuk di Timor Leste ini kami bisa belajar banyak, tetapi untuk diimplementasikan yang bisa banyak implementasikan ke sini itu harus sesuai dengan konteks yang kami ada. Di saat ini di kesehatan kami menggunakan model inovasi di kesehatan seperti beberapa tools untuk mempermudah kami dalam memantau penggunaan distribusi, penggunaan dan obat-obatan di seluruh daerah di Timor Leste ini. Lalu beberapa inovasi yang kami coba menggunakan untuk mempermudah distribusi vaksin atau beberapa medical equipment untuk daerah pedalaman yang sedikit susah diakses dengan transportasi yang lebih besar. Jadi hal yang perlu di sini untuk diketahui atau ditekankan adalah apapun inovasi yang kita mau untuk terapkan itu harus sesuai dengan konteks lokal, konteks kita supaya bisa bekerja dengan baik. Next. Saya kira ini perbandingan saja dari apa yang tadi sudah dibahas. Jadi peranan dari inovasi sendiri kita lihat itu sangat penting karena ide-ide yang baru memang akan meningkatkan pendekatan yang baru untuk memberi pelayanan yang lebih baik. Contoh misalnya telemedicine, kami di sini menggunakan e-dokter, introduce baru diintroduce untuk penggunaan membantu tenaga-tenaga medis untuk melakukan e-dokter ini. Jadi bagaimana seorang dokter bisa paling tidak setelah dia memiliki diagnosa dia mempunyai referensi untuk melakukan tindakan selanjutnya, dan e-dokter ini tidak melulu pada aplikasi, tapi ini misalkan ada kumpulan dokter di mana di dalam itu ada spesialis di bidang masing-masing, jadi konsultasi secara langsung dengan spesialis-spesialis itu untuk membantu dokter-dokter yang bekerja di health post yang ada di daerah pedalaman. Next. Jadi lalu datang dengan next slide berikut. Konsep tentang kolaborasi seperti tadi sudah dikatakan, jadi ini kolektif, sebuah usaha bersama, kolektif dan terkoordinasi. Dan ini hal yang sangat membantu untuk meningkatkan memperkuat sistem kesehatan kita karena kita bekerja secara tim. Dan ini tidak terbatas pada tim di dalam yang lebih kecil tenaga kerja saja, tetapi itu mencakup ke semua aspek, semua partner yang ada di luar dari kesehatan, misalnya seperti itu. Jadi itu misalkan stakeholder kita NGO, WHO di sini atau NGO lokal, pemerintah di sektor lain, itu semua diikut sertakan dalam usaha untuk meningkatkan pelayanan kesehatan di tempat kita ini di Timor Leste. Jadi itu akan sangat membantu dan akan memberikan hasil yang lebih bagus. Jadi bisa antara government dan public private sector, jadi dan juga kolaborasi dengan internasional, jadi regional atau internasional itu sangat membantu. Di Timor Leste di dalam bidang kesehatan itu kami bekerja sama dengan di Indonesia tentu saja, lalu dengan Australia, teman-teman dari di laboratorium nasional, mereka sangat punya hubungan kerjasama yang bagus dengan laboratorium di Darwin sana untuk melakukan beberapa inovasi yang bisa kami pakai di Timor Leste, terutama dimulai pada saat pandemi COVID di tahun 2020-2021. Lalu kolaborasi ini sangat penting karena kerjasama ini sangat penting untuk bisa menghandle sebuah krisis yang terjadi. Kita baru saja 2-3 tahun lalu kita ada di dalam sebuah krisis yang global, pandemi COVID ini. Tapi kami bersyukur kami negara kecil yang dengan semua keterbatasan yang ada kami bisa menghandle dengan baik. Tentunya ini bukan hanya usaha kami semata, tetapi dari negara-negara yang lain yang membantu, dari Indonesia, Australia membantu kami sehingga kami bisa melalui fase ini dengan baik. Next. Saya kira ini tadi seperti yang tadi dijelaskan, mungkin di sini partnership yang kita harus ditekankan di sini antara pemerintah dengan yang lain, bahwa kadang itu agenda dari stakeholder itu sangat strict dan kadang-kadang itu sedikit berbenturan dengan polisi kita. Jadi di sini peranan pemerintah, peranan kita sebagai yang punya masalah, kita harus tahu bahwa sebaiknya itu apapun agenda atau tujuan mereka dengan untuk datang ini harus disesuaikan dengan apa yang kebutuhan kita. Jadi kita mencoba untuk mengarahkan, jadi harus ada adjustment sedikit antara kepentingan mereka dengan kepentingan kita. Karena semua yang akan dilakukan itu dilakukan terhadap kepada masyarakat kita. Jadi kita harus lebih tahu supaya bisa mengarahkan mereka untuk memberi pelayanan yang terbaik. Dengan inovasi dari kolaborasi yang baik, yang sesuai dengan konteks dan bisa applicable ini, kita berharap bahwa sistem kesehatan kita akan semakin baik. Jadi itu konsekuensi logis dari kalau kita mengimplementasikan inovasi kesehatan yang applicable di tempat kita, lalu tidak membiarkan inovasi itu bekerja secara mandiri, tetapi tetap kita bertanggung jawab sebagai tenaga medis, dan dengan bantuan dari sektor-sektor lain, maka diharapkan hasilnya akan semakin bagus dan sistem kesehatan masyarakat kita juga akan semakin. Kolaborasi ini juga tentu kita tidak melupakan masyarakat sebagai subjek utama dari semua tindakan pelayanan kesehatan kita. Jadi mereka juga harus dilibatkan secara aktif. Lalu nanti untuk melakukan semua ini tentu dukungan finansial yang stabil dari pemerintah, dari sektor-sektor yang mendukung ini harus disiapkan dengan baik sehingga kita tidak berbicara hanya di jangka pendek 1-2 tahun, tetapi itu bisa diterapkan ke depan sehingga pelayanan kesehatan yang baik ini bisa menjangkau seluruh masyarakat di sini, terutama di Timor Leste. Next. Baik, saya hanya memperkenalkan sedikit tentang struktur sistem kesehatan kita di sini. Dari mainly dibagi dalam 3 kelompok. Jadi ada Kementerian Kesehatan di MOH-nya, itu di Kementerian Kesehatan. Lalu next slide. Next slide. Ya, jadi sistem kesehatannya, jadi ada Kementerian Kesehatan sebagai pusatnya, lalu ada yang kami sebutkan sebagai national level, itu dirjen-dirjen dengan sampai ke pemegang program, unit program yang di sini lebih diharapkan untuk melakukan polisi kesehatan itu. Jadi dari dirjen lalu ke Direktur Nasional Director, lalu Departemen sampai ke unit. Di tingkat itu rumah sakit daerah itu berdiri langsung di bawah, bertanggung jawab langsung kepada Dirjen Kesehatan di Timor Leste. Lalu yang kedua adalah kesehatan di Dinas Kesehatan Daerah. Dinas Kesehatan Daerah mereka bertanggung jawab ada puskesmas dan health post dengan program-program yang disesuaikan dari kebijakan yang sudah diambil di tingkat nasional. Lalu ada satu badan yang disebut autonomous service, jadi mereka berada di luar dari dua dirjen di atas, 2 kategori di atas. Mereka langsung bertanggung jawab terhadap Menteri Kesehatan itu sendiri. Badan-badan ini kalau mungkin di Indonesia mungkin bisa dikomparasikan dengan seperti UN. Jadi meskipun di sini itu tidak menghasilkan, tetapi secara administratif berdiri independen, tidak di bawah Dirjen Kesehatan. Jadi Rumah Sakit Nasional, Laboratorium Nasional, Balai Penelitian dan Pelatihan Kesehatan Timor Leste, lalu SAMES itu seperti bukan balai POM, tapi dia bertanggung jawab terhadap pengadaan, distribusi dan pengontrolan obat dan medical equipment untuk satu Timor Leste ini. Lalu di yang putih-putih di sebelah sini itu adalah kabinet-kabinet yang langsung memberi masukan kepada menteri berkaitan tentang aspek hukum, berkaitan dengan aspek quality mutu dan pengendalian mutu, dan juga berkaitan dengan bagaimana dalam kesehatan, tenaga kesehatan ini mengimplementasikan peraturan-peraturan yang telah ditetapkan di Kementerian Kesehatan. Itu mereka gunakan. Lalu bagian terakhir adalah bagian kerjasama. Mereka ini keempat organ ini, mereka langsung bertanggung jawab terhadap menteri, dan masukan itu diberikan ke sana untuk mengambil keputusan. Next. Next slide. Jadi tentunya untuk membuat sistem kesehatan yang lebih bagus, implementasi kesehatan itu harus meliputi seperti apa yang dikatakan oleh WHO, bahwa ini meliputi service delivery, terus berbicara tentang health workforce atau tenaga kerja kesehatan, lalu berbicara mengenai informasi, sistem informasi yang baik, lalu obat-obat yang esensial yang harus ada, bisa mudah diakses. Di Timor Leste kami juga mempunyai list ideal yang setiap 2 atau 3 tahun itu akan direvisi sesuai dengan kebutuhan yang ada. Jadi terdaftar obat-obat yang esensial yang harus ada di Timor Leste. Saya mungkin memberi contoh di tingkat fasilitas health post itu ada sekitar 150 item obat dan konsumatis obat dan medical equipment yang digunakan yang harus ada di tingkat health post. Semakin tinggi, maka ya, ideal itu akan semakin banyak dan semakin bervariasi. Lalu berbicara tentang financing, hal yang sangat penting sekali untuk bisa membuat semua bekerja dengan lancar, semua berjalan dengan baik, maka dibutuhkan sebuah financing yang proper, yang baik. Lalu yang paling utama di sini adalah dari segala macam itu adalah leadership, governance yang sangat memegang peranan penting di sini. Di Timor Leste, hal ini masih menjadi tantangan berat bagi kami karena situasi politik tidak selalu stabil dengan pergantian leader atau kepemimpinan dalam politik ini itu mempengaruhi semua tingkat-tingkat kebijakan yang sudah dibuat di pemerintah sebelumnya, bahkan sampai di tingkat yang paling rendah dalam kesehatan ini, itu sudah terpengaruh. Jadi maka itu sedikit banyak ada mempengaruhi sistem kesehatan kami sehingga hal yang tadi kita sebutkan di depan, inovasi-inovasi yang simple, kerjasama kolaborasi tim-tim yang lebih kecil dengan membuka diri terhadap bantuan dari NGO atau partner-partner di luar dari tenaga medis ini. Kami berharap bahwa kami bisa bertahan dengan baik dan bisa melalui masalah ini. Next. Seperti yang tadi sudah dikatakan, next, inovasi kesehatan yang kami sudah buat di sini hanya seperti mobile health tadi, kalau itu paling umum dipakai di dalam bidan maternity. Jadi bidan-bidan ini mereka mempunyai sebuah seperti grup WhatsApp yang ada, yang sederhana grup WhatsApp yang ada. Jadi ibu-ibu hamil yang sudah terdata yang masuk dalam sistem mereka itu akan selalu dikasih tahu, diberi notifikasi, kadang konsultasi secara langsung apa permasalahan mereka dan bisa memberikan solusi yang kalau hanya bisa diberikan melalui bicara saja maka akan diberikan. Tapi kalau harus membutuhkan tindakan maka akan diarahkan untuk datang ke fasilitas kesehatan. Sedikit lebih modern lagi ya, di sini juga ada namanya Liga Inang, jadi itu menggunakan aplikasi yang lebih sedikit di atas WhatsApp grup biasa. Jadi itu sudah bersistem di mana ketika seorang ibu hamil datang untuk kunjungan pertama K1 itu langsung dimasukkan ke dalam sistem. Beliau akan mendapat notifikasi berkala setiap minggu dan mengingatkan dia tentang risiko-risiko kehamilan, lalu apa yang harus dia lakukan selama kehamilan dan segala macam itu dikasih. Lalu telemedicine yang seperti tadi saya katakan, karena daerah kami yang sangat geografis yang sangat tidak menguntungkan ini, maka telemedicine ini sangat bermanfaat. Jadi teman-teman di daerah perifer mereka bisa berkonsultasi langsung dengan spesialis di bidang masing-masing tentang permasalahan yang mereka hadapi. Lalu ada inovasi di dalam keterlibatan masyarakat di dalam sistem pelayanan kesehatan. Kami mempunyai kader-kader kesehatan di masyarakat yang dilatih, yang dibina secara berkala sesuai dengan bidang masing-masing untuk melakukan program-program spesifik, misalkan pembagian obat dan vitamin untuk perlindungan terhadap ibu hamil dan segala macam. Lalu inovasi di dalam desain untuk melakukan surveillance. Jadi monitoring dan yang kita lakukan MLI yang kita buat ini sudah dibuatkan satu sistem sehingga hasilnya itu bisa diakses langsung kita di lapangan. Mereka dibekali dengan alat-alat sederhana yang ada. Ketika input data di lapangan itu sudah bisa langsung dipantau di tingkat nasional. Next. Ya, beberapa lagi yang seperti sudah ini. Jadi dulu kita mengandalkan listrik dari PLN generator. Sekarang sudah juga digunakan sumber energi dari solar, dari matahari secara langsung. Terutama ini digunakan di Sames dan di Dinas Kesehatan daerah untuk mengamankan aliran suplai listrik terhadap mereka, sehingga obat dan medical equipment itu tidak rusak dengan mudah. Next. Bekerjasama dengan berbagai pihak di luar dari Kementerian Kesehatan dan kementerian yang lain, di government yang lain, kami bekerjasama dengan baik dengan WHO, UNICEF, dan berbagai NGO yang ada di sini, baik internasional maupun lokal. Mereka sangat mendukung, berperan aktif di dalam pelayanan kesehatan yang kami berikan di Timor Leste ini. Dukungan dan partisipasi mereka ini sangat nyata. Jadi terutama dari NGO-NGO internasional ini, seperti ide-ide yang tadi dilakukan, mobile klinik, penggunaan drone, segala macam itu adalah berkat bantuan dari NGO-NGO internasional ini terhadap kami di Timor Leste. Lalu untuk NGO-NGO lokal yang lain itu dibina, termasuk dibina juga oleh NGO-NGO internasional ini dan Kementerian Kesehatan untuk mendukung program-program kesehatan yang sudah dicanangkan oleh Kementerian Kesehatan untuk jangka pendek, menengah maupun jangka panjang. Terutama dua program yang sangat terkenal itu adalah karena kami masih daerah endemik untuk TB, jadi itu TB itu dilatih semua tenaga kesehatan dari tingkat nasional sampai ke tingkat dusun itu ada penanggung jawabnya untuk memperhatikan isu tentang TB ini. Lalu Timor Leste itu sudah menyatakan bebas dari malaria, sehingga kami perlu juga menjaga status ini, terutama karena kami berbatasan langsung dengan secara darat dengan teman-teman di Atambua sana, jadi sangat mudah bagi lalu lalang antara masyarakat dari Atambua dan juga Timor Leste ini, sehingga sistem surveillance terhadap pemantauan malaria itu juga harus ditingkatkan dengan baik. Nah ini kami tidak bekerja sendiri, tetapi bekerja juga dengan Dinas Kesehatan dari Indonesia sana, terutama di Kota Ain, sehingga langkah-langkah preventif itu dilakukan untuk kedua negara ini, sehingga bisa menekan kedua negara ini sama-sama saling membantu untuk menekan angka kejadian malaria di daerah masing-masing. Ya. Jadi dengan adanya kolaborasi-kolaborasi seperti itu, dengan adanya usaha-usaha seperti itu, kami berharap bahwa hasil yang akan kami dapat ini bisa sangat membantu. Jadi harus tumbuh berkembang secara bertahap, lalu harus merubah diri, reorganize untuk ide-ide yang lebih baik. Jadi di sini kami berharap untuk mendapat masukan dari teman-teman, dari para pakar, dan terutama kami sangat senang karena Universitas Jember mau memberi kami kesempatan untuk menyampaikan keadaan kami, dan kami berharap mungkin di sini ada Bapak Rektor dari Unil juga ada, atau ini berada. Jadi nanti bisa menindaklanjuti apa yang bisa kita lakukan bersama antara kedua universitas, mungkin dibantu sama pakar-pakar lain yang mungkin hadir di sini untuk melakukan sesuatu yang bisa applicable di Timor Leste untuk sistem kesehatan Timor Leste yang lebih baik. Jadi kami akan terbuka sekali untuk mau terus belajar dan mendapat masukan yang baik dari teman-teman ada di sini. Next. Hal yang paling kami mungkin butuhkan di sini itu berkaitan tentang integrated disease surveillance. Jadi bagaimana kami bisa merespon, karena akhir-akhir ini terus terjadi penyakit-penyakit yang kalau tidak di sini di timur kami katakan itu KLB. Beberapa saat yang lalu mulai terjadi rabies, sudah memakan korban sampai hari ini mungkin 3 orang dalam 3 bulan terakhir. Kasus gigitan anjing beberapa orang itu ada sekitar 3-4 kali 4 kejadian yang sudah dilaporkan. Jadi sekarang kami lagi berusaha untuk bagaimana bisa melalui situasi ini. Jadi itu kami perlu. Jadi untuk bisa membantu kami di dalam segi itu. Lalu kesiapan kami untuk menanggulangi natural disaster. Jadi meskipun jarang, tapi contohnya seperti tahun 2021 Timor Leste juga satu negara ini terkena dampak dari natural disaster yang tidak melumpuhkan tetapi sangat mempengaruhi sistem pelayanan kesehatan kami, di mana sekitar 2-3 minggu ada kejadian yang membuat kami tidak bisa melakukan hal dengan baik, di mana terjadi banjir, tanah longsor dan angin topan, sehingga membuat beberapa kerusakan yang cukup berarti bagi kami di sini. Lalu kami masih membutuhkan sistem di primary healthcare kami, terutama di pos ini, sehingga kami bisa melakukan service delivery yang lebih baik lagi, terutama karena health post kami ini tidak dibebani 2 tugas sekaligus, sebagai klinikal dan juga sebagai surveillance. Itu dilakukan di semua di health post ini. Di dalam politiknya kami diarahkan supaya di pagi hari memberikan pelayanan kesehatan di fasilitas, di sore hari keluar dari fasilitas untuk mengunjungi, membuat kunjungan di rumah-rumah masyarakat, sehingga lebih tahu kondisi masyarakat yang sebenarnya di lapangan. Kami mungkin di bidang-bidang seperti ini ada kemungkinan bisa kita saling belajar lebih baik lagi. Lalu kami berusaha untuk attach masyarakat kami terhadap konsep kesehatan yang lebih baik lagi, untuk memberi kesadaran yang lebih kepada masyarakat terutama tentang kesehatan, karena Timor Leste mungkin masih mirip-mirip dengan Indonesia bagian timur. Kami budaya kultur itu sangat kuat sekali, jadi masih percaya hal-hal mistik, hal gaib. Itu menjadi tantangan tersendiri bagi kami. Ya, bagaimana kami berkembang ini, kami untuk menjadi lebih baik lagi, kami membutuhkan teman-teman untuk bisa membantu kami di sini, bisa bekerja dengan kami, memberi masukan, sehingga kami bisa berjalan lebih baik, lebih mantap, mengusung hari yang lebih baik lagi masa depan. Jadi di sini fokusnya di contemporary strategi yang kami saat ini lagi dibuat di Timor Leste ini, kami berfokus ke primary healthcare, jadi memperkuat itu. Karena seperti tadi sudah dikatakan, 60-70% itu masyarakat tinggal di daerah pedalaman, sehingga primary health care itu sangat penting sekali. Kebijakan kami juga karena melihat situasi geografi yang seperti itu, maka pelatihan-pelatihan untuk multiple area itu selalu dilakukan. Jadi tidak hanya kepada tenaga kerja saja, tenaga kesehatan, tetapi ke masyarakat-masyarakat yang dijadikan sebagai focal point kami di daerah mereka masing-masing, sehingga inisiatif yang dilakukan di dalam kesehatan itu bisa mereka bisa lakukan terapkan di daerah masing-masing. Dengan bantuan mereka, apa yang kami rencanakan itu kami harap itu berjalan dengan baik. Lalu hal yang kami sedang lakukan di sini seperti tadi sudah dijelaskan ini, kebijakan itu terkait dengan usaha untuk memberi pelayanan semakin baik, cepat, dan tepat waktu itu dengan inovasi-inovasi sekarang sedang dipilotin oleh dengan penggunaan drone, lalu penggunaan solar teknologi itu di daerah-daerah yang jauh dari perkotaan. Lalu melibatkan sektor-sektor yang lain, terutama dari pendidikan, dinas pendidikan di daerah, itu untuk terlibat dalam program-program kesehatan, baik itu tentang kampanye atau juga tentang program usaha kesehatan sekolah yang kalau di Indonesia mungkin ini sudah hal yang biasa, tetapi di Timor Leste kami mencoba untuk mengadaptasikan yang seperti di sini, sehingga usaha kesehatan sekolah yang dilakukan di Timor Leste itu hampir seperti kunjungan dari tim klinikal dari puskesmas ke sekolah bersangkutan untuk melakukan screening terhadap kesehatan gigi dan mata di sekolah. Next. Jadi peranan dari pada teknologi yang kita akan inovasi teknologi yang tadi kita harapkan untuk digunakan di tempat kita, di tempat kerja kita itu, itu tentu harus sangatlah lokal konteks bagi kami, karena kalau tidak kami mungkin tidak akan bisa menggunakan dengan baik. Seperti yang sudah dikatakan, jadi electronic report ini, database elektronik yang kami buat ini sudah dilakukan di 13 distrik ini semua, tetapi masih ada banyak halangan, tantangan, itu terutama berkaitan dengan jaringan internet, sehingga meskipun dari aplikasinya sudah ada, tetapi database elektronik itu masih seperti manual, jadi kadang tidak bisa langsung diakses dari nasional, harus tetap dikirim melalui email segala macam. Lalu telemedicine yang tadi kita katakan itu sangat membantu di dokter-dokter yang ada di rural area. Lalu seperti yang tadi untuk membantu ibu hamil untuk menjaga kehamilan mereka dan jaga kondisi mereka tetap sehat, menggunakan mobile health mobile itu ke mereka, sehingga atau yang kami di sini kenal dengan Liga Ina, sehingga ibu hamil tetap memantau kesehatan mereka dan ada komunikasi yang intens dengan petugas kesehatan. Tantangannya ya seperti tadi, pengetahuan yang terbatas tentang teknologi ini, baik di bidang di tenaga medis sendiri maupun di masyarakat umum, sehingga penggunaannya kadang tidak berjalan dengan baik. Jadi ada juga kesenjangan infrastruktur, seperti misalnya keterbatasan listrik, yang meskipun sudah ditutup dengan penggunaan solar panel, tetapi kadang iklim cuaca jadi tidak memungkinkan untuk bekerja dengan maksimal. Next. Dan karena itu maka yang menjadi sangat vital di sini adalah kami sampai pada satu kesimpulan mengatakan bahwa ternyata sangat penting itu sumber daya manusia itu sangat penting. Dalam keterbatasan yang ada ini, kami tetap mengakui bahwa sumber daya manusia kami itu harus penting, itu sangat penting dan harus dimanfaatkan, diberdayakan yang maksimal. Jadi terutama kami mulai dari tingkat masyarakat di desa kami. Tadi sudah dijelaskan bagaimana kami mempersiapkan membekali masyarakat beberapa orang di setiap dusun, mulai misalkan ketua lingkungan, ketua pemuda-pemudi, ketua organisasi religius di dusun untuk membantu kami memberikan informasi, memberikan pelayanan kesehatan kepada masyarakat di sana. Lalu berusaha untuk meningkatkan pengetahuan masyarakat kami dari yang sedikit primitif atau konservatif ke arah yang lebih modern tentang praktik kedokteran, praktik kesehatan yang harusnya kita adopsi, harusnya kita lakukan. Kami menjangkau masyarakat luas. Kami dengan di beberapa daerah itu melakukan siaran radio ya, khusus untuk program kesehatan dan 3 operator di mobile di Timor Leste itu juga dituntut untuk selalu memberikan info kesehatan kepada semua pelanggan-pelanggannya. Jadi edukasi kesehatan itu melalui semua media yang ada di Timor Leste kami pakai. Kami harap itu informasi itu bisa sampai di masyarakat umum dan mereka akan bisa belajar sendiri atau paling tidak aware terhadap apa yang menjadi masalah mereka. Lalu hal yang sangat penting yang kami sadari bahwa adalah partisipatori dalam monitoring dan evaluasi di setiap program yang ada. Nah, ini kita di Kementerian Kesehatan ini kalau pergi tim monitoring itu pergi untuk monitoring terhadap sebuah kegiatan itu selalu melibatkan beberapa pihak yang di luar daripada Kementerian Kesehatan, baik dari NGO, dari pemerintah lokal. Di sini konsep dari sistem kesehatan di sini ini di daerah tenaga kesehatan itu bertanggung jawab tidak langsung ke atasan di puskesmas, tetapi itu bertanggung jawab juga ke camat, Pak Lurah. Jadi absensinya kadang dicek oleh mereka. Jadi kita benar-benar tidak hanya bertanggung jawab untuk atasan kita di dalam kesehatan, tetapi kita accountable juga terhadap lokal leader di sini. Dan ini sebuah praktik yang menurut kami bagus karena kan meminimalisir tenaga kesehatan yang agak nakal, agak bandel. Terima kasih. Next slide. Okay. Jadi hal-hal yang tadi dibahas di atas itu kami coba tuangkan di dalam kebijakan kami di dalam Timor Leste Health and Strategy Plan sampai di 2020-30, itu jangka panjang dari tahun 2010 dulu itu diterapkan untuk 20 tahun ke depan. Kami berharap dalam 2 tahun ke depan itu akan dievaluasi ulang. Kami sudah sampai di mana? Nah, strategi itu sudah apa yang sudah kami capai. Nanti akan dibuat review ulang dan akan dibuat sebuah rencana jangka panjang yang baru. Hal yang lain di sini sekarang itu kesadaran pemerintah bahwa isu kesehatan sebenarnya sangat penting. Sampai saat ini kami mengalami beberapa masalah di dalam penanggulangan kesehatan, terutama di kesehatan yang untuk penyakit-penyakit yang tidak menular, kronis tidak menular, NCD dan kanker-kanker. Seperti itu kami tidak bisa lakukan di Timor Leste dengan properly, sehingga kami tetap berhubungan dengan negara-negara tetangga, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapura, untuk bisa membantu kami dalam memberi pelayanan kesehatan terhadap penyakit-penyakit yang tadi disebutkan, terutama di kanker dan cardiovascular disease yang lebih advance. Lalu di parlemen kita, APBN terhadap kesehatan kita ini juga meskipun masih kecil, tetapi dari tahun ke tahun itu dicoba untuk dinaikkan untuk bisa menjawab kebutuhan di dalam bidang kesehatan. Satu hal yang membuat kami cukup senang adalah bahwa ada ketegasan hukum di negara kami tentang kesehatan ini. Satu yang paling umum di negara kami, secara di undang-undang kami sudah ditentukan bahwa kesehatan itu free ke semua orang, dan semua orang harus bisa mengakses kesehatan yang diimplementasikan oleh negara Timur Leste ini. Jadi baik dari pelayanan atau pendampingan sampai rujukan ke luar negeri itu menjadi tanggung jawab pemerintah kita untuk dipenuhi, dan itu secara hukum ada kepastiannya. Hanya kadang-kadang implementasinya itu yang menjadi sedikit bermasalah karena sesuai dengan mood atau pemimpin yang aktual itu sedang memimpin. Jadi kebijakan turunannya itu yang sering menjadi masalah di sini. Next. Ya. Jadi ini seperti yang tadi jadi sudah dikatakan apa yang menjadi tantangan-tantangan political will ini juga sangat mempengaruhi, terutama political will ini nanti sampai merambah sampai ke tingkat yang lebih rendah. Misalnya pergantian staf, satu pemimpin naik, dia akan merubah kebijakan sehingga membuat mutasi terhadap staf tertentu yang sudah menguasai di bidangnya, kadang itu diganti dengan staf yang baru, sehingga apa yang sudah dilakukan sampai di tengah jalan harus diulang dari awal lagi. Tentang database kita itu masih terfragmentasi sekali, jadi masing-masing pusat-pusat data itu kadang tidak sinkron untuk memberikan satu data yang sama, yang komprehensif. Jadi kita misalkan membutuhkan data tentang NCD, kita harus pergi ke bagian NCD. Kita membutuhkan data tentang program malaria, kita harus pergi ke bagian program malaria. Padahal di Kementerian Kesehatan sudah ada satu departemen khusus yang tentang berkaitan dengan sistem informasi kesehatan ini. Tapi dengan keterbatasan yang tadi, data-data itu kadang tidak di-share, tapi terfragmentasi, jadi terpisah-pisah sehingga tidak komplit. Maka kita untuk mendapat data yang komplit tentang sebuah program, kita harus pergi masing-masing ke tiap-tiap program itu untuk mendapatkan data yang akurat tentang program tersebut. Next. Jadi kami sampai di rekomendasi untuk kami. Jadi apa yang kami tahu, karena di sini saya berbicara sebagai universitas dari pihak universitas ini, maka kami mencoba menilai bahwa ini hal-hal seperti ini yang bisa kami rekomendasikan, dan mungkin nanti dari teman-teman, dari peserta, dari pakar-pakar yang ada mungkin bisa memberikan kami masukan yang lebih baik lagi, sehingga kami bisa meningkatkan sistem kesehatan masyarakat kami lebih baik, sehingga kami bisa memberikan pelayanan yang lebih baik lagi. Jadi kami rekomendasi mungkin tetap membuat inovasi, mempromosikan kerjasama lintas sektoral antara sektor pemerintah dengan sektor pribadi, itu harus ditingkatkan, jadi terus digalang, lalu mencoba mendorong supaya inovasi digital itu digunakan di semua infrastruktur yang kita ada di Timor Leste ini, di dalam kesehatan kita ini, terutama tentang e-dokter, e-medicine, lalu sistem data informasi kesehatan yang harus dilakukan, harus diterapkan, diimplementasikan, dan diharapkan ada pelatih bisa.
Mohon maaf, Bapak, untuk waktu penyampaian materi tinggal 5 menit lagi. Terima kasih.
Ya, terakhir sudah. Oke, jadi rekomendasi seperti itu. Langkah-langkahnya kita membuat di short term, medium, dan long term. Short term-nya kita buat capacity building, rencana untuk membuat capacity building. Jadi Undil mungkin bekerja sama dengan UDS untuk bisa melihat peluang-peluang untuk bisa memberi kontribusi secara langsung di short term-nya, lalu membuat pilot project yang bisa kita lakukan di sini, lalu medium term-nya dengan keberhasilan di project pilot itu kita bisa membuat ekspansi, jadi scale up ke baik jangkauannya maupun ke jangkauan tempat maupun jangkauan penggunanya. Jadi itu bisa ini, lalu membuat itu jadi policy yang standardized policy sehingga bisa diterapkan di semua fasilitas kesehatan di Timor Leste sini. Lalu baru berbicara membuat advokasi ke pemerintah pusat untuk membuat anggaran financing yang stabil sehingga itu bisa diterapkan secara nasional. Saya kira sampai di kesimpulannya bahwa saya mengatakan bahwa kami membutuhkan improve di dalam sistem kesehatan kami dengan berbagai tantangan yang ada ini. Jadi kami membutuhkan peningkatan di dalam sistem kesehatan kami jelas. Lalu inovasi dan kolaborasi itu benar-benar vital untuk meningkatkan sistem kesehatan masyarakat kita. Lalu strategi-strategi yang bersifat lokal konteks itu sangat penting karena itu lebih menjamin keberhasilan daripada kita mengadopsi sesuatu yang tidak bisa kita terapkan di Timor Leste. Lalu untuk sustainability-nya maka diharapkan ongoing komitmen dari semua yang terlibat di dalam. Saya kira demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan. Demikian, terima kasih untuk kesempatan dan
ya baik Bapak, terima kasih atas presentasi yang telah disampaikan. Mohon untuk tetap bergabung di Zoom karena akan ada sesi diskusi dari audiens.
Baik.
Okay, I will invite Mrs. Pacha and Mr. Sedirka for joining in discussion session. Okay, we will now proceed to Q&A sessions. There will be 2 rounds of questions with 3 questions in each round. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat box. And there are many questions that has been answered by Mrs. Pacha in the chat box. Maybe we can move to the direct delivery questions. Please raise your hands or type your question in the chat box. Okay, if you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat box.
Okay, while we're waiting, can you hear me?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Okay. While we're waiting, so I just want to summarize the questions that there's some people asking through the chat. So I think I already answered some of them. And the one thing that I would like to clarify, because there are many, I think they are nursing students, or I'm not sure what year that they are in right now, but they're asking about so how the newborn screening can be available in their low resource area, let's say like remote area, or they have a lack accessibility to access to the high technology or advanced technology. So the one thing that I would like you guys to keep in mind, providing care in the term of technology advancement, it doesn't mean that we have to depend on high technology. But you have to realize the importance of the technology that is available for you in hand. Let's say like you work in the healthcare center that is far away from the capital cities, that you don't have high technology equipment, but the one thing that you have is knowledge and data that you can access through any mobile device or electronic device. You can search online or get on the internet searching. Over there is the big library for you. So as a nursing student, learn more, gain more knowledge. So you have to dig deep for the detail that you want to know. So let's say if you want to know how newborn screening can implement in the rural area. Right now, if you ask this question with ask ChatGPT to answer this question, you will surprise with the answer. And again, another question that some students ask me about international guideline, or even for the student, nursing student, I know like the overview ideas about the big picture of the world healthcare system is still limited. So if you think about how nursing protocol or nursing guideline or even the research development happened, is come from the country who have more advanced in the healthcare. So if you're working again in the rural area or limit resources or the healthcare technology, so one thing I recommend you guys to do is learn more through the textbook, through the research article, and through to research study wherever available on the internet to gain more knowledge. International guideline is already there, providing for all of you. And now, if you are not like confident in English, ChatGPT can translate for you perfectly. And this is very, very important that you have to know that the international guideline is already written by the group of experts who gathering together and discuss and sums up the idea as become the guideline and protocol. But it doesn't mean that you have to copy them 100% and implement them to your healthcare system or your healthcare center. You have to adapt it and apply it to fit your system. I think that is maybe like give the idea or and some stuff, the idea from the questions that they asked me through the chat. Any question more?
Okay, maybe I will check the chat box for more questions. Or maybe this is questions to Mr. Sedirka. Excuse me, I would like to ask how can we ensure the privacy and security of patient data in an increasingly data-driven global health ecosystem?
I saw some people raise their hand. Can you repeat the questions again?
Yes, excuse me, I would like to ask how can we ensure the privacy and security of patient data?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I already answered it through the chat. So in Omega, we have the law, which is regulates and monitoring the privacies of all the healthcare data lead to, just keep it safe, keep all the data of all patients safe. So we call this law as HIPAA. And maybe like you may familiar with the PIH. So it's just a law to protect your personal information, and you have to strict and follow the law. If you didn't follow the law, they fine you. So for example, in my workplace, so we have electronic CDM for healthcare provider and also for the patients, but it's just different user ending. So for the healthcare provider, so I can access to the electronic data system that I can see all the patient record since the beginning they just born until they grow up until now, like 20 years, whatever, all the lab, all the EKG, any medications, whatever. But for the patients, and they can see all the data every single time that they come to see the doctor. And also they can chat with the doctor through that application too. So as a provider or healthcare worker, so we really worry about the privacy or the confidential leak to the system. So we have like a, many login system to get inside the data, and we have the rule that we have to follow, that we cannot share information to anyone if the patient not allowed, and we also involved with the in consent form and many things. So yeah, so this is a long and deep detail that I cannot discuss there more, like deeply to experience how it's being protecting.
Okay, thank you very much for the responses. Okay, maybe we move to Mr. Joe for delivery the questions from audience. Okay, the first question from Ica Dila. The question is, what is the main challenge faced by Timor-Leste in building the resilience of his health system based on the latest demographic data? Thank you.
Baik, Ica berbicara bahasa Indonesia. Saya mencoba untuk menjawab bahasa Indonesia, boleh? Okay. So I'm reading the some text here. it's give to me a question about the presentation that I just delivered. So many of them asked about the main challenges to implement the implementation and also collaboration in Timor-Leste health system. As I told before, that first of all, there is a lack of the literacy on technology itself. So they are just exposed, attached to the old kind of the modern technology, just maybe 1-2 years back. So it's quite hard for us to get it in one time, the same time at this period. So it's very hard for us now to learn all things together in the one time. The first thing. And second, it's many of our health professional care in Timor-Leste, we are not trained in Timor-Leste, in the country, which is not attached to the many concept of the innovation that now globally apply. So it's very hard for us to start to implementing this in Timor-Leste, and also the demographic barrier, which is has the very clear impact on the how we can apply the all innovation, especially the technology in our country. So mainly like electricity supply is very challenging for us here, and also internet connection. So I am happy because I can, during this presentation, there's now disturbance on the internet connection. I used three different internet network here, so to assure my connection with this. So it's very challenging for us here. And also the one thing that is more important, I will try to answer it according to the Timor-Leste context, is the governance bill. So Timor-Leste's political situation is very hard for us 5 to 6 years from the back. So in this period, we already changed 2 or 3 times our government. So it gives a complete effect to our policy, health policy in Timor-Leste. As I mentioned before, there's a short turnover of the staff because of the different politics background. So the one that already trained to do this work sometimes just replaced by other people that's very new for this program and these activities. So I think this is very hard for us until now. So turn over the staff in the short time is very problematic for us in terms we can to provide the good service to our people here in healthcare. So it depends on the governance view. So when there is a will that they continue what already done before, and it's good thing, then it can work properly. Otherwise, everything can be collapsed because the one that the newcomer they want the new policy to implement it in the health system. So I think this is the answer from me, from my point of view.
Okay, terima kasih Bapak.
Hello.
Thank you very much for the answer. And the next question.
Itu kedengaran?
Ya, sudah Bapak, jelas.
Kedengaran.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is from Indah Fahimatus Soleha. what are the key barriers to improving maternal and child health services in Timor-Leste, considering the current geographic and economic conditions?
Ya, saya kira jawabannya tuh hampir mirip-mirip karena itu faktor-faktor. So all the question, I think the answer is quite the same because all the factors that affect how we can apply this concept, innovation also to improve improvement of our delivery health service. It's mainly I just mentioned it before, but in terms of the financing, we also face the very difficult situation here. So even there is an increasement of the budget in Parliament annually, but still it's still low. And then the distribution, the allocation budget for its program is it's very difficult. So here, like we compete to the same budget, we compete, and then who the winner will get more. So it's not like a proportional that we allocate it proportionally, something like that. Sometimes, so because of the connection in the system, so some programs they get more allocated budget rather than the others. Even the other program that get the minimum budget is very important, but because the person who run the project is maybe different with the ship, and then all the budget will go to the another program that they want to share with. So in terms of the financing, it's very hard for us in this moment. But like the other factors, is quite the same. So it's a geographic barrier. So literacy in the technology, and also it's something that because we have to admit we just attached to this kind of concept. So we try to learn, and hopefully the next 2-3 years we can work properly. Thank you.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak atas jawaban yang telah diberikan. Maybe the last one question from Imro'atus Solihah. Beyond the innovations already highlighted, what other strategic approach can Timor-Leste leverage, particularly through mHealth and drone technology, to effectively overcome geographical barriers and achieve equitable nationwide healthcare access?
Terima kasih banyak. So it's a very good question. I think the other is I just replied from the chat, but it's very good question for us. So all the innovation, some of them, we just promote this. We start to using it in Timor-Leste, like iHealth or e-doctor, something like that. It's not been institutionalized yet. So this is it's a personal or group will to do something like this, but like in Liga Inang, something it's already become a national program. So we want to explore and we want to learn if the e-doctor, if the consultation with the specialist by the application it's work properly, then we will make this as a national guideline. So because as our policy is written clearly that it's health post there. So we have a clinical personnel there, one one medical doctor, two nurse, two or one midwife, one pharmacist, and one laboratory there. So at least 7 people with the various profession work in the health post in the rural area. Sometimes they cannot just access many things as we in the urban area. So the innovation it's really needed to help them to deliver uh, uh, good services to the people that in their area. So next step that we will do in Timor-Leste, we make it become the national guidelines, to institutionalize it, and we apply it to the all facilities in Timor-Leste. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer to the questions. Okay, thank you for engaging question. We appreciate your active participation. Thank you, Mrs. Pacha and Mr. Cho. And I think Mrs. Pacha and Mr. Cho always stay in Zoom because at the end of the sessions will be a wording of precision. Now I would like to take a summary from what the speaker has presented. The first summary of the future of global health is data-driven, transforming healthcare through data engineering and analytics, and maternal and neonatal care in metabolic and genetic disease. This combined presentation powerfully articulated how data engineering and analytics are transforming global healthcare, emphasizing that the future of global health is data-driven. We're also highlighting their specific applications in maternal and neonatal care for metabolic and genetic disease. Ms. Sebirka underscored that despite massive data volumes, limited access, and fragmented system present significant challenges, yet data hold the key to tracking outbreaks, improving patient outcomes through personalized medicine, and optimizing operations. Dr. Pacharapontulyaku then detailed how emerging technologies and drug clinical trials are specifically enhancing maternal and neonatal care, particularly in addressing genetic and metabolic disorder, which globally affect over 7% of newborns. The second summary of employing innovations and collaboration for resilient public health system. This presented emphasized the critical role of innovations and collaborations in building resilient public health system, particularly within the context of Timor-Leste. It highlighted Timor-Leste's demographic profile and current health challenges, including high maternal and under-5 mortality rates, infection disease, malnutrition, and limited infrastructure, which necessitate innovative solutions like digital health, tax shifting, and user-wise delivery models. This presentation concludes with a roadmap strengthening Timor-Leste health system through investment in digital infrastructure and training, enhance multi-sector collaborations, increase health innovations, finding, and scalable pilot projects, all aimed at achieving a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable healthcare future. And the next session is awarding a certificate of appreciations to Mrs. Pacha and Mr. Cho, please. Okay, here you go. This is your certificate of appreciations. Mrs. Pacharapontulyaku, PhD, as a speaker in the
kasih.
Third University Dr. Subandi
Thank you
International
so much.
Conference on Health Sciences.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next certificate to Mr. Cho, please. Okay, Mr. Jo, this is your certificate of appreciation as a speaker in the Third Universitas Dr. Subandi International Conference on Health Sciences. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final part of this session. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our speakers, Mrs. Pacharapan Tuliakul, PhD, and Mr. Sebirka, and Mr. Joe Manuel Correa Jimenez, MD, for their fascinating and informative presentations, as well as for the thoughtful responses to your questions. I also extend my thanks to all participants for your safe involvement and valuable contributions. I trust this seminar has been a rewarding experience for everyone. Once again, thank you all for your participation. We wish you a pleasant day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat siang. Terima kasih banyak. Okay, thank you so much. See you.
Yeah, thank you for having me too. So hopefully we're gonna see you again next year. And have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih. Mohon izin keluar.
Siap, Bapak.
Thank you very much to the moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, the end of the presentation from our speaker also marks the end of plenary of our conference. We will continue the agenda by oral presentation. On this session, all the participants will be requested to join to the breakout rooms that we have informed for the oral presentation. Each breakout room will be guided by a moderator. In the breakout rooms, apart from doing your presentations, you will also listen to other presenters' presentation that will be equally interesting at the first day of presentations. But before we start our next agenda, the committee will present some posters that have been submitted to our conference. To the committee, time and screen is yours. Thank you very much. So everyone, let's move to the next agenda and let me read the rules of oral presentation. First, participants must join the assigned breakout room on time according to the committee's instructions. Second, presentation must follow the order list in the participant schedule provided for each breakout room. Third, participants who are unable to present according to the schedule order must inform to the breakout room moderator by sending a message in the chat box. 4. Each presenter is allotted a maximum of 10 minutes for their presentation with no additional time allowed. 5th, presentation must be conducted in English and there's no question and answer session. 6. Presentation slides will be shared on the Zoom screen by the participants. 7. Participants must keep their microphones mute while others are presenting. 8. Presenters are expected to ensure a stable internet connection at their location to avoid disruption during the presentation. 9. The judges' decisions are final and cannot be contested. And 10. Participants who are not scheduled to present may join any breakout rooms. Ladies and gentlemen, this session will end at 11:30 a.m. And dear all participants, please kindly join on your designated breakout rooms. And for participants who are presenting in room 4, this session will begin at 11 a.m. Thank you.
you.